Hi guys, welcome. I'm Lizzie Litzow, your Student Body Vice President, and this is the final debate of the Student Body Elections 2013-2014. We're going to start with the presidential candidates. We have Forrest McGuire and Charlie Schreiber. We're going to start with 2-minute introductions. Charlie, you go first since you won the coin toss.
Great.
Forrest, you follow with your introduction. And I'm going to ask Charlie your first question. It's going to be a minute and a half to answer. Forrest, you get a rebuttal, 1 minute. Then I'm going to ask you a question, et cetera, but there's only one rebuttal. So you go first, Charlie, you rebuttal. You don't get a rebuttal back.
Okay.
All right, so we are going to start the clock at 2 minutes. All right, Charlie, start.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having us here. We love to speak in front of big groups like this, especially a group that's so energetic about representing our student body. One of the reasons we always talk about, Courtney and I, when we talk to big groups is why we decided to run. The reason we really wanted to run was to represent the student body as a whole. We have such a passionate student body here at Miami and such a powerful student government, but we see a big disconnect between the two bodies on campus here. We really want to be the bridge and the catalyst to make change that the student body really feels passionate about here at Miami. We've talked to so many people on campus, so many boards of organizations, so many different clubs, to really form our platform to be a new platform of new ideas. We really did not want to focus on older ideas. We really want to emphasize coming up with new strategies to make Miami even better. We want to continue the traditions Miami have, and we want to continue the past legislation Miami's had, but we really wanted to focus on new, tangible ideas that we could get done within a year. So we came up with a really easy platform to remember. It's called the 4 S's, which stands for scholarship, social, safety, and sustainability. With each of these S's, we've taken so much time to really try and figure out different platforms that can be easily implemented and make small and big changes to our student body here. With scholarship, we really want to implement a tuition lock, which sounds like a big thing on campus, but it's really not, because the state as a whole is really gunning for this, as well as other states around the country. With social, we really want to break down the closed-door barriers that a lot of students feel are up with the student government. We see such amazing things you guys do on a daily basis, but they sometimes feel like it's more of a removed situation. So we really want them to feel like they're connected to their student government, they're connected to their student president. So we really came up with this great idea of doing Tuesdays with Courtney and Charlie to make them feel comfortable. With safety and sustainability, we've also have these new ideas that we really want to implement, and we've worked hard with organizations to put that in place. So thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Forrest, 2 minutes.
Great. Well, thank you all. It's glad to be back here, not campaigning, but it's good to be back and really talking to you all and really just sharing a lot of the stuff that Lotte and I have done and a lot of stuff that we've been implementing over the past 2 years, and it really shows the experience and the dedication that we have. And I mean, I've been with you all for the past 2 years. I've been in ASG. I've been writing legislation and passing it with you all. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and this is something that I want to carry on. I've been the right-hand man to the student body president for the past year. I know the ins and outs of the organization as well as the ins and outs of his position. So the student body president isn't just specifically getting to know all of campus. They're trying to be the person who is talking to them, because that's what you all are here for, and that is what your job is. The student body president is the one who is talking to the administration and making sure that we get the policies passed that Student Senate passes here. And that is what I want to do, and that is exactly what I intend to do, hopefully, if I get elected as student body president. Stuff that we've been going over, and my biggest platform piece is medical amnesty. This is what we passed here just a few weeks ago. This is something that I co-authored. It's something that I'm really fond of. Another thing that we've been talking about is professional development for non-business majors. Getting a lot of feedback from students. We see that career fair is really specific for, it seems that it's very contained for business majors, and what we want to make sure is that all students get the professional development opportunities that they deserve here on campus. So with that, thank you all so much, and I really do look forward to this debate.
Thank you, candidates. All right, first question to Charlie. You have a minute and a half to answer. When we get to the 30 more second mark, I will go like this and then start counting down from 10.
Great.
Forrest, you will have a 1 minute rebuttal after he's done speaking. Okay, Charlie, realistically speaking, how feasible will your main platform ideas be to enact if elected? Going off this, what steps do you see having to take to make true progress? Start whenever you're ready.
That's a great question, because a lot of ideas are new, so a lot of the concern will be how easily is this implemented. when we think of our ideas that we come up with, lights on campus such as solar panel lights, that is something that student organizations are so passionate about, that we've looked into, that they've looked into how to get grants, how to make sure that our lights on campus are more green. So it's a win-win situation for the university. It's both fiscally conservative and it's more green. So once again, these are things that are really tangible to put in place. Backlash a lot of time from the university comes from a financial point of view. So we've taken a lot of time and effort to make sure that our ideas are not financially damaging to the university. One of our big ideas is this tuition lock, and we've gotten a lot of questions about, is this going to really hurt our university financially? The answer is absolutely not. Courtney and I would never advocate for something that would hurt us financially. On the opposite effect, it's actually increasing Miami's university's surplus by having different ways of keeping your students on campus. $27,000 is the buzz number when people leave campus that they're in debt. 54% of our students leave in debt of upwards of $27,000. And so to keep them on campus, we want to put this tuition lock. So they're constantly getting more involved on campus. They're constantly paying their tuition. They're paying their rent because they can, because their scholarships actually apply the same amount all 4 years, so they feel comfortable enough to stay on campus so they don't have to leave. So these are the reasons why our ideas are so well implemented, because we've taken time to actually consider why Miami University would have backlash from this.
Thank you. All right, Forrest, 1 minute to rebuttal.
So I think with the tuition lock, that's something that actually administrators have been talking about, and I really don't see that being very feasible doing for the next year. One thing that you actually have talked about that you didn't mention here in part of your platform is actually the women's hour at the rec. That is something that can absolutely not be done. It's something that, how are you going to tell the rec center to close off the rec for a specific group on campus? There are people on this campus who pay money that want to go when they need to go. There's also people that pay off campus, people that live in Oxford who are paying memberships that you can't tell them to not come to the rec at the time that they need to go. So this is, I mean, it's a great way to get women's votes. It's a great way to market it, but it is not economically feasible and it cannot be done.
Do we have time for a rebuttal to that?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You do not. All right, Forrest.
Yeah.
Second question goes to you. Again, you have a minute and a half to respond, and you have a 1 minute rebuttal to Forrest. Do you think ASG needs to be internally restructured? If so, in what ways would you change the current organizational structure and outcomes that you anticipate from those changes?
Yeah, so since I've been a part of ASG for the past 2 years, it's not that I'm hearing what needs to be changed about ASG. I actually have seen and I know what needs to be changed and what we can do better. We're doing stuff great right now, but there's always stuff that we can improve on. And what I've talked to a lot of you senators about and what I've talked to a lot of the cabinet members about is how do we restructure and how do we make sure that we're getting the right student representation on this campus, because that is what ASG's function is to do. So what we've talked about, a lot of ideas have been thrown out. And what I would really like to do, and I would definitely love everybody's feedback to make sure that we get the best system in place for electing senators, for making sure that we get the student representation on there. If we change to academic divisions, that way we can make sure that all students are represented from the different academic divisions to make sure that their voices are being heard. If we switch to just not every single dorm, the community councils will still be a thing, but we won't be changing to, and well, also one more thing is international students. There are 1,000 of them who aren't represented, and we need to have their voice here on cabinet and on Senate.
Thank you. 1 minute to rebuttal.
Yeah, I'm so glad you put it that direction, because this is a problem we've seen with Forrest's campaign this whole time. He talks to his group of friends. Courtney and I go out and we talk to the people, and we ask them what they want from their student senate. They say they want a more open door policy. They want to know what's constantly going on in ASG. They want to feel like they can come and speak in front of you. So one of the things that we think is a really good opportunity for our student government to get the students more motivated to become involved is make sure they know what's going on. When there's an open senate seat, make make sure the entire student body knows this is open so they can run, and that their groups on campus can feel like they're being represented. It's really important for our students to feel like our student government is listening to them, is hearing their voices. So we really want to put 2 seats reserved in the Student Senate for international students. We really want to make a cabinet position specifically for international students, because let's be honest, they make up such a crucial aspect of our campus that is so underutilized and undervalued. And so that portion of campus feels like they can't come speak in front of a group. But if they are understood that they are heard here, they will come and they will tell you their problems.
Thank you. All right, next question goes to you, Charlie. And these are more specific questions to your platforms. Charlie, a main criticism of your campaign is your lack of experience in student government. Your opponents both have experience at various levels of student government, while both of you are considered to be traditional ASG outsiders. How will you possibly make up for the deficiency in experience that you have? A minute and a half.
That's a great question. Thank you so much for asking it, because I'd love to clear this up. When you're running for student body president, experience you have in Senate is great, and that's a huge portion of it. But the real reason that people want to run is because they want to represent the campus as a whole. Every time we go to an organization, they say they don't feel like they're fully being represented. So we really want to run because we touch so many aspects of campus on a daily basis. Courtney and I sit in on so many organizations. We probably touch over 40 organizations on a daily basis. This is the type of person you want as your student body president. Someone that can actively go out and talk to the constituents, to the student body, and hear their concerns. And vice versa, they feel comfortable talking to. Forrest and Lott, their campaign is great, but they did not go out and talk to the student body. Their ideas are relatively old ideas that need to keep being pushed, but they don't have new ideas that the students feel passionate about at this moment. We went out and we talked to over 100 organizations before we even decided to run, to hear their platform, to understand what they wanted to do on campus. And that is why we created the 4 S's, because it touches so much of a majority of our campus that they feel like we are the people's candidate. We are the candidate that will properly represent them in Senate, in student government, and to the university. Thank you.
All right, 1 minute to rebuttal.
So, I mean, you said that we didn't talk to any student groups on campus, which is absolutely false. We have been talking to a lot of student groups, just as many, if not more than you all have. Another thing is that it's great to have ideas, but it's one thing, it's theory versus practice. And what we've been doing, we have the experience, we know what we need to do, we know how to do it, and we know that we do it well. And the other question I want to pose to you all is the next student body president will be meeting in 2 weeks with President Hodge and John Stefanski. So I want you to think, who do you want there to talk to President Hodge, to get medical amnesty put in place, to get all these things that we've been working on for the past year, to push those through and make sure that President Hodge listens to us, as well as the other various administrations. We've brought medical amnesty up in front of the Board of Trustees. We've brought it up in front of Student Affairs Council. We have all their endorsements. So who do you want to be representing you all when we want to make sure the student voice is heard by the administration?
Thank you. Okay, Forrest, next question kind of leads me into my next question. You're running on a platform that indicates you have a lot of student government experience, having policies that seem to mirror a lot of the initiatives that ASG is already currently pursuing. What fresh ideas does your platform have that separates you from the current administration?
Yeah, so a lot of it has been because I want to be the person to put the nail in the coffin for medical amnesty. It's not something that I want to leave behind and all the hard work that we've put in. Other fresh new ideas that I have and stuff that I want to do, such as reaching out. I mean, Charlie talked about reaching out to student body, and what I want to do is make sure we have 50 senators here. Why can't we get the student senators to go in and campaign just like we have, saying, hey, I'm a student senator. This is what my role is. This is what ASG does. This is how I can keep you informed. This is my email. This is the resources that we have. So we can keep you all connected and we can get you all actively engaged to make sure that we are representing the student body and that we keep that open door policy there, because your all's part as senators here are so crucial. That's something that I want to enact next year. We're also talking, just like I said, about the professional development. Since Lott and I both work at Career Services, this is something that can be done next year. This is a fresh idea that I think is critical on this campus, because we want to make sure every student, after they graduate, has the professional development opportunities that they deserve.
Thank you. 1 minute rebuttal.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you have to say, but I didn't hear any new ideas, and I'm sorry. I looked at the previous administration's platform, and it seemed to be very similar to your own. And to be honest, when you don't go out and you speak actively to at the students and with the students to hear their concerns, you can't come up with new ideas. So it's great to keep pushing that boulder up the hill at medical amnesty, and Courtney and I are 100% for that. But it's crucial to make sure the students know their current problems are still being heard. You can't really pass it on presidency. You can't take a winning platform and make it a current platform. You have to continuously be going to students and saying, okay, these are current problems right now. What are some problems you see in the future? What are some things we can start now and make sure that the ball's rolling on those as well as these old problems? So it's really important to keep the communication lines open, and I feel like we're the people to do that.
Thank you. And that concludes the presidential debate. Thank you for joining. Oh, and now you have 2 minute. And I have 2 minute closing statements. You can use this to include any rebuttals that you were not able to finish or that you were not able to be allotted to. Forrest, you will start first. You have
Absolutely.
2 minutes to start.
So to say that we didn't have any new ideas, the professional development actually is a brand new idea that we've been creating. That's something that Lala has been a part of, and that's something that we want to implement for next year. So that is a new idea that we have been doing. And just like I said, I want you all to think, who do you want to be talking to the administration about these policies that you want to be put in place? Is it somebody who is a nice guy who has good ideas, or is it somebody who will get the stuff done and make sure that the promises that we are telling you all that we can get these implemented for next year? That's the question I want to leave with you all. We have the experience, we have the conviction, and we have the knowledge to get this stuff done and to make sure that we are representing the student body. And of course, I've been a part of ASG, but I've also been a part of many organizations on campus and been president of many organizations on campus. So I have been connected with all of the other organizations, and I want to make sure that we are being as open as possible to the student body, because ASG is the representative of the student body. So thank you.
Thank you. Charlie, 2 minutes.
Once again, I want to really thank you guys for letting us be here tonight and to speak to you guys. When you vote tomorrow and Wednesday, I really want you to go and do your research. I want you to go to both of our websites, and I want you to read, and I want you to really see which ideas are new. And I really want you to see which ideas are going to be easily implemented next year while working towards these longer goals. And I want you to really take a moment and step back and see which one of these candidates will best represent the student body as a whole. Who is ready to pop the bubble and really get out there and let people come and talk to ASG, let the student organizations feel like they're being heard, let the students really feel like they're getting a voice in the student government. And when you take a second and think about it, you're going to come and you're going to vote for Schreiber Bernard. You're not going to be coerced or forced to vote on Wednesday and Thursday. You're going to vote because you really want to. You're going to vote because you like the ideas and you like the candidates. You're going to vote because you're ready for change and you really don't want this to be a pass-down presidency. So I really want to thank you again for letting us be here tonight.